Good, right?
Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Berryman here, coalition builder and founder of Bringing Humanity Together. Welcome to another wonderful Wednesday edition of Conversations for Humanity here, brought to you by Bringing Humanity Together. And now I have to put this out to you. It's also going to be brought to you by our newest partner here at Bringing Humanity Together, Adaptive Strategies Group 2 as well, which is headed by my great friend Keith Kupperman. So be aware of that moving forward. You will be seeing a lot of content from both not only Adaptive, but also Bringing Humanity Together in partnership with one another. So again, thank you so much for being here today. Today is with our great guest, Cristina Imre. She will be sharing her story with us today on Conversations for Humanity. And right now we're in our meet and greet session. So come join us, get to know Cristina and ourselves here at Bringing Humanity Together. So click the link in the comment section of LinkedIn. I don't know if Facebook has it, but I'll post it here in just a little bit. But also for people on YouTube, you'll have that there. So again, Cristina, welcome to Conversation for Humanity. How you doing today?
Very happy to be here, Chris. I arranged everything because I would love to have and see the comments if there are coming in. And
They will. They will. They'll be coming. Absolutely. Absolutely.
if
So
you,
if you could, please, Cristina, first foremost, tell everybody how me and you got connected and then where you from. And again, we'll get into your story and just go from there.
yeah, so we were in one of the live audio events on LinkedIn, I believe, for the 100 community. And that's another amazing platform you want to be in. And every Friday, we have networking events, especially for those who want to connect and do some great stuff here on LinkedIn and also build their brand, because basically through LinkedIn, you can reach to anyone and create amazing relationships, businesses, and you name it, no matter where you are in the world. And in my case, location doesn't matter. I'm a remote worker from Romania for over 10 years now. I serve North America market. Most of my clients are there. And this is one of the things I also preach, that you don't need to be limited in today's space and era. And no matter what you want to do in your life and where you want to live or just travel and stay periods of time, whatever, this shouldn't limit you. And we are in a state of age where we are talking a lot of amazing, nice things, but we do not so much, and including the discriminations and the inequality and this kind of labelings around where you are and what you're doing. And we focus less on humanity, who we are, our character, our values, our mission orientations, and not ultimately our skill sets as well. And that it's not limited by location, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation. Those are just like unique per individual.
So, if I remember correctly, that you're actually in Bucharest, is that correct?
Timișoara, it's one of the other largest cities in Romania, and it's next to the border with Hungary and Serbia. It's a super cosmopolitan city. Here you have the true exemplification of integration and acceptance, because we have so many ethnicities under one umbrella. We are also a university city. The vibe is just so cool in the city. I love it. That's why I'm living here, because I constantly have all kinds of offers to move or relocate, and I love to travel. I love to go to speak, to work with my clients all over the world. But if it's not necessary, I love where I am to live here.
So, the question then becomes, were you born in Romania or did you kind of immigrated to Romania?
I'm born in Romania. I'm also half Hungarian. After my father, I'm half. After my mother, I'm Romanian. So, yeah, a dual breed. And I truly get to know both ethnicities well. And I was born at northwest of Romania in Satu Mare, a smaller city. And then I jumped to Cluj, another big city here in Romania, and another tech hub as well in the middle of Transylvania, and then jumped in Timișoara. I was also traveling a lot. I lived in South America for a while, And yeah, I just took the remote work since then. I could say I'm a remote pioneer.
Wow. Now, the question then becomes, since you've lived in South America, how was life in South America for you?
Interesting. So, being a Latin country, you do have a couple of similarities around Romania, and Romanians are also Latin. And so, you do have, from a communication stand of view, some similarities, but also differences. It was awesome from a land perspective because, I mean, we had a huge land there. It was like a jungle that was recreated in a way that you cannot just afford in bigger cities or countries. You know, you could afford the neighborhood for the land I had there, and I built basically a dream house there. And but what I loved a little bit, because if we are talking connectivity and also human relationships, is that the level of empathy, it's still intact more in South America than in more developed cities. And for example, my gardener gave me one of the biggest lessons of empathy in a special moment of need, you know?
Wow. That's
And
amazing.
yeah, I could share that story because it's so related to what you're doing here with your mission and conversations for humanity. And I was recalling that, hey, we were also so much connected even in Romania, but together with technology and stuff, we need to adjust to not lose our humanity, but also integrate tech inside our life in a way that it enables us to do more human-like ways and things than before and enjoy our lives. But we started to compete with tech, and so that is a great story. So there were a lot of things on my plate, moving in a different country, having everything new, having a new land, needing to construct, also to have a business remotely to run. So there were so many things on my plate. And at some point, I was really overwhelmed, and I was staying in the middle of my land and just looking blank. I had one of those days, and I just need to go back a little bit. My gardener, a typical Latin American worker, very cheerful, constantly joking, talking a lot, but he needed micromanagement. That was one of his minuses, let's say. And I wanted to have a green, let's say, garden with every veggie you can imagine because of the healthy lifestyle I wanted to have there. And so, yeah, just imagine a huge garden that was surrounded with bamboo. I mean, just bamboo in Europe, how much it would cost if you're thinking about different kind of pricings and also different lifestyles. And so this was a huge garden, and every time he planted something and it changed around the garden, because that was his first mission, he just came to me, Doña Cristina, ¿cómo estás? And he was inviting me constantly to see the garden. Is this okay? Is this not okay? Do you like it? Don't you like it? And I had so many things to do, but I needed to constantly reaffirm that, yes, this is very good. It's great. I'm so pleased with you. But it became a little bit tiresome after some time. And that day, I was just staying, looking blank in front of me, and I'm just hearing the voice from the left, Doña Cristina. And I was just like, oh my God, this is the last thing I just need now, right now. Please, God, I want quiet. And he comes to me, Doña Cristina. And I'm turning, and he sees my face. Everything shifted in 1 second. I said, oh, Doña Cristina, I never saw you so sad. What happened? And he was like, a lamb, a very sad lamb looking at me like this. He was so empathic. He shifted state. He just stayed quiet. He wanted to know what happened with me. When I saw his face, his big eyes looking at me, and his empathy, I started laughing. Everything shifted. My state shifted. And then I realized how precious it is when we can truly connect to someone. And from that stand on, I truly valued him a lot, because he gave me this precious gift to remind me that basically, no matter what happens in life, if we are alone, nothing matters. But if we are connected with others and we care about one and another, then this life can be so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I agree. And see, it's what I share with people every day, Christina, that I recognize and what we recognize here at Bringing Humanity Together, that the one thing that interconnects us all is our very humanity. And once we tap into that and let that be for what it is versus what it's not, we can listen a whole lot better and learn a little something better and maybe lead our lives in a better and healthier way. And then we allow others in and of itself. Hello there, Sue. How are you doing? We would love for you to be on the show. Chris has endless patience, and yes, you are right. That is not nice to be alone and everything like that. Sue, please come join us. We would love to have you on the show. But I truly believe, Christina, once we really get to know who people are, and I truly believe the better question to ask is not what you do, is who are you? And then when you know who people are and they know who you are, you give them a place and a space, not only from a great gift of alignment, but also a great gift from agreement that you allow them to take that journey with you and you with them in a way that where it creates that connectivity, creates that opportunity to grow and thrive, that connects you guys in a way that that collaboration will spark something that gives you those endless aha moments. And then once that comes to fruition, it builds off a great and growing community, movement, passion, purpose, call it what you will. But we actually can do that by just willing to say, hey, I'm willing to show up. And if we're willing just to show up, then all those things will be there for each and every single one of us.
Absolutely. Hello, Denise and so. I love to have conversations and interact with people around.
Yeah, come on, Denise. Come on, Sue. Come join us. The link is already in the chat, in the comment section of LinkedIn. So we would love to have you here. And of course, if you can believe it or not, our newest partner here at Bringing Humanity Together from Adaptive Strategy Group, Keith Kupperman, is here. Hello, Keith. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing well, doing well. Glad to be here.
All
Hello.
right. So this is Cristina. She's our special guest today. She's all the way from Hungary, if you can believe it.
Romania.
Romania,
Next
I
to
mean.
Romania.
I'm hungry for Hungary.
Yeah, but location doesn't matter much today.
Well, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right. Very good. Very good. Hello, Charles. We're glad that you are here.
The funny thing was, Chris, I got so used with audio events during the last weeks, including mine, Tech Leadership Lab. So please connect and subscribe to the newsletter if you want to hear more about my mission and what I'm doing through Tech Leadership Lab. That today I realized through your link and your message that we are on video today, and that was funny.
It's all good. And see, and the beautiful thing about that, Christina, is whether you're on audio or not, if you're just willing to show up as who you are, that's all that matters. And people resonate with that and everything. So, again, we would love to hear from you guys today. So, please, Sue, Denise, Charles, click that link on LinkedIn. It's already there, and I'll post it right here for you guys so you can join us. Just click this link right here. That's the StreamYard link. We would love to hear from you. So now it is that time, Christina, for you to come share your story on Conversations for Humanity. The floor is yours. Please come share your story with us today on Conversations for Humanity.
Wow. I'm not used to share my story. I usually talk about what I'm building, about my actions and my clients. And I started to start sharing parts of my story. So this is exactly something I don't usually do. Maybe you will guide me because I have many things to say and also share if I would start to, maybe in a book or something, because basically I had a very full life. So no regrets there. I did and tested and tried things my way and also had that kind of background where I went through a lot, and including trauma. And if you are talking about entrepreneurs and those who are true born entrepreneurs, you will find in many of their lives some issues in their childhood, but we all have them. And yeah, I did have mine. And so it was not exactly a special childhood mine, but maybe you resonate with that. So I read your story, Chris. And yeah, you went through crazy things, and also you lost your father when you were 12, I believe,
No,
right?
it was my mother.
Your mother when you were 12, yes. And then you got to your father. Yeah, in my case was my father. He left first at 9. I was 9 when he died. And I had a huge shift at that state of age, where one of the biggest lessons I've learned, that you cannot take anything for granted, not even people, not relationships. And my environment rapidly changed, drastically changed from one day another. Everything changed in my life. And I was thrown in the middle of a crazy chaos between two families that affected me wildly, although I already had some traumas in the past. And I needed to adjust to a new life that taught me that, okay, I need to toughen up. I need to build a very tough skin, because eventually there are moments in time when you are fully alone and you cannot rely on anyone else, just yourself, because everyone else is busy or too traumatized with your own things. And you need to get a handle if you don't want to go crazy. So I had long years of revelation, searching for truth, searching for my own balance. And I had tons of ideas around why we are this way. For example, I had two revelations, and this became my life pursuit, basically, that people are superficial and unstable. I got that in high school when I put one and one together, and I realized that superficial, why? Because it's so easy to label. We have all those cognitive biases, but even now in this room, I could, if I would want to, or I just don't spend the time to know you, Chris or Kate, I could just label you based on anything I see, your background, the way you are dressed, the way you are bronzed or not, the t-shirt on you, the colors you are wearing, the way you are talking, and the way you are moving. I could put tons of labels on you, and those labels are not stable. Because one day, if now, let's say I'm in a happy mood and I would just see the world in a bright colors all over, I would say, oh, Chris is just authentic. This is his way. He's an awesome guy. But another day, when I'm depressed or someone criticized me or nothing went out well, I could see you with completely different eyes. And we are doing this on a daily basis, many times on a daily basis. This is how superficial we can be. And I sensed that at a very early age. And so I started my own tests, psychological tests, cognitive behavioral tests, because I blended in multiple circles. I couldn't find my spot. I couldn't find myself fit in any. I did sports. I did then theater. I had the neighborhood guys. I was street smart. I had my neighbors around. I had the kids in school. They were different kind of groups for me, and so I blended every time, and knew during a day I might have blended 3, 5 different groups. And I saw that they were treating me completely differently based on what they knew about me, or the impression they had about me, or the way I dressed. I had tests just about dressing, just about changing things on me, on outfit, basically in high school, to see that I can be perceived in any way I want, because people don't take the time to truly know you. That was one, and it was just so revealing. And the second one, about we are so unstable. And this was one of the things I suffered through my entire childhood. It was that, how is possible that I can feel safe next to you, and something in a second, something triggers you. I don't even know what triggered you. The way I watched you, I looked at you, or I said something in the wrong tone or something, and you transform yourself from an angel to a demon in 1 second, and you become my aggressor. And so for me, or vice versa. And I said, wow, we have these buttons. We have so many triggers, and we are not even conscious, and we cannot control them. We are so emotionally triggered beings. And I wanted to understand why, because I knew for sure we can do better. And then the entire pursuit of my life started. And for me, I can understand why people don't understand my profile well, and they say it's crazy and it's not even the entire story there on my profile on LinkedIn. It would be just too much. I took a 2 decades plus journey to understand human nature, business, and success combined. And it was something in the trenches. It was assumed. I never pursued fame, money, or fortune for that first half of my life, because I knew that if I would be successful in my 20s, and I had my chances, several chances to get very successful with my businesses and what I pursued in the past, because if you are a workaholic like me and very interested in something, you cannot not become successful. Okay, if you are focused and you do that thing, and usually many times it happens at the 2 years mark, and this is correlated many times with people changing even CEO functions at that stage and growing and going to another dimension. In my case, it was when I learned something from something I pursued, an industry, a business of mine, a business I co-founded with someone, whatever. I stopped it. I even closed 2 businesses that were profitable. I could just sell them. I sold 2, but also invested. So my background is crazy. But what I saying, when I thought, hey, it's enough, I closed. I didn't pursue more because of, oh, I will make more money next year, double, triple. It was just not interesting for me. I said, if I get successful too soon, I won't be able to appreciate and understand deeply all the facets of life, industry, levels, including titles, from bottom to top, top to bottom. That's why today I am not intimidated by anyone, and I can be blended in any environment, from homeless to presidents, and I don't care. I care about who you are, where you want to go. But it was a hard process. It was a tough process. I went through a lot of difficult periods, including financially, for this process. And when I said that, okay, I gained enough, then after 40, I said, now the second part of the journey, I'm ready to also grow my brand, my prestige, my influence, my everything, because I do have what it takes to back up those amazing founders, businesses. I truly believe in that they can change the world or bring a good change in this world, and they need all the help they can get. And they need that type of coach, holistic coach, that is next to them, not just when the business struggle comes and kicks in, but also when they have a health issue, also when they have a family issue, also when they have a parenting issue, and someone who can understand all those facets of lives. And there are not so many. And that was my life journey. So I went from medical school wanting to understand psychiatry, psychology, cognitive sciences, behavioral science, behavioral economics, anthropology, neuroscience, entrepreneurial journey, 6 businesses co-founded, founded, or just invested, and then fractional executive in over 20 industries, remote worker for over 10 years. So the spectrum is large. I work with SMBs, startups, and corporate, including with CEOs from corporate and CEOs from startups at every stages, in a way that I do have that kind of, and in multiple countries around the world, now focused on North America, in order to do have that huge holistic spectrum. And that's why Tech Leadership Lab, that started now as a movement through a newsletter and audio events, is basically has the MTP, massive transformative purpose, tech for good, led by good hearts. Or the long version is uniting visionary and good-hearted tech leaders to solve Earth's biggest problems and build a better future for all. And I truly believe it's possible. If you unite the right type of leaders, they can solve today's problems because we do have what it takes to put together our forces. But when you have psychopaths, sociopaths, narcissists, and those who have no long term vision, but they want to gain for themselves today, and tomorrow this earth can go to hell together with these people, then with such leadership at top, you won't solve anything for long. And so this is what my pursuit is, to connect and have those kind of leaders who are not just skill based, but also character based, who are long-term thinkers, purpose driven, value driven, legacy, mission oriented, and empathic. Very important.
So let me ask you, Christina, what was the one event, or was it many events, whatever that might have been, to lead you in where you are at today and everything like that? Can you remember that place and time for you, and how did that look like to you?
I think there were a succession of events during my first 24 years, and they are mostly related to family conflicts and situations, except one internal kind of sense we all have in us if we are listening and we go beyond the initial shelter, and we sense that we want to do something in the world. So that was in me that I need to. So hear this out. What I saw, that there are different peoples with different type of desires that makes them happy, and it's cool. So we don't need to judge them. It's everything is cool. Some people want to be very well integrated with their near neighbors or a group of friends, and if they achieve that, they are very happy. But some other people, like me, they want to create a big impact or go to Mars or something like this. And if they don't have a huge impact that includes the world, and they are not location based because they don't care about this kind of little things, labels, then they are not happy if they don't have that huge disruption. So that was always in me. But the specifics, they came through family situations that hurt me and made me think more in depth about who we are, what we are doing here, how we can improve. Hello, Jay.
Hello.
Well, hello, Jay. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine. I just wanted to pop in and say hello and see what the discussion was all about today.
Well, Christina just shared her awesome story with us today as well. Jay, as you being a storyteller, her story was just truly amazing and everything. Then we're glad that you are here. But I want to turn to you, Keith. What's your big takeaways in Christina's story right now for you?
For me, it's going to be like there's so many similarities that I see between myself. Building businesses, walking away from businesses at the point where I could have actually made a lot more money off them if I kept them, and just knowing when it was time to stay when. And also what resonated with me is about when you spoke about entrepreneurs also dealing with issues from their past and like creating them becoming entrepreneurs because of something that happened to them. So I can definitely say that I had a very interesting childhood and I think that could have had something to do with how I always wanted to get out there and just to start new businesses and to just keep succeeding and just trying new things. So that resonated with me as well. But I'm just so glad that you're here and you're telling us your authentic story, and it's great that you're showing your vulnerability. Another part that you said, which is really that I was thinking of myself too as well, is how you said you're going to speak to anybody, and it doesn't matter who you're speaking to, and it's the same way that I am. Like I can speak to someone that is in an organization as a volunteer, someone that's in there coming in doing whatever their job is, all the way up to the CEO, and they're always going to get Keith. There's never going to be a different one that's going to come out. It's always the same exact person. It's always going to treat everybody with respect, and also let them know exactly how I feel. So I mean, I really love that about you. It's a tough place to be at when you're feeling that confident in yourself and you're capable of actually showing who you are and proceeding that. But yeah, you today.
Well, thank you for this feedback. It's so helpful. And I need to tell you, Chris, this is one of the few appearances. I don't think I have any where I laid out so many things about my past. So I think I will send this link because it's recorded to people who want to know more about my past, because you don't have so many things in one place. Yeah. And I don't feel too comfortable about this, but I realize that if I want to attract the right type of people to resonate with me and my mission, I need to show my authentic self, and also those things that were an important part of my life. And I could share another thing that could work here if you want to. So when I created that tough skin, and I worked on that tough skin through the entire gymnasium, and I went through a lot of things because the trauma also disbalanced me metabolically. I had overweight issues. Even if I did sports, that sports saved me for a while. And it was one of the saviors. And everyone who knows I'm also a biohacker. So I promote sport for kids and the entire lifestyle. I constantly do a sport. I'm a runner currently. And sports made a big difference to keep me sane. That was one. But I also, because after my father died and everything shifted in my life, I became a little bit of bulimic, I must say. I started to eat and I found pleasure through eating. And I had a lot of, because I was disconnected from my environment, everything shifted overnight. I just found myself without a father, without our house, without everything. And I just left in a different part. I don't want to go in more details, but for a child of 9, it was a huge disruption. I didn't realize that what's happening, why I'm not going home, why I'm going in an ugly neighborhood. I don't even know anyone. So I started to have problems with eating. I got overweight. And then I struggled with that through entire gymnasium. I was laughed at because of that. I became so the person was very active and powerful before. It became, let's say, victimized. And during that period, I constructed that kind of thick skin that was in full label in high school. And what I wanted to say, that people can have some sort of meanness because of their own weaknesses and unhappiness. And many times people cannot be happy for other people. And because I wanted to avoid pain, I was in high school seen as the leader. She has the money, she knows everything. I mean, she's so independent. I was mostly at home alone. I kept the house. So I became very mature very early, and I kept the house very early during high school. And so I had money, I had all the things, but I became very responsible. And my colleagues and others around me, kids especially at my age, saw this as, wow, she has it all. I mean, wow, I would love to have her life. Because this is what I showed. I didn't want it to get hurt, to show any vulnerability. And so they didn't know anything about what's happening in the background. Yeah, okay, but keep the house, okay? And stay alone a lot and keep all the responsibilities when your mother has to travel with work for 3 weeks and stuff like this. And so they didn't know that. But what was interesting, that growing a thicker skin and being more and showing this kind of self-constructed esteem, they started to hit on me, to test my limits, because they became envious. And envy is a very naughty kind of enemy for us, being envious for people, because we have no, and this happens today. That's why I want to pinpoint, in a social world, our unhappiness is many times related because what we are seeing through social media about others is many times a fake image, because we tend to show the good parts. not the bad parts, because we don't want to feel vulnerable or others to say that we are a failure or that our life is just not so exciting as in the photos, right? And so every time when you show this, you will start to have envy. And I got so much envy around me. It was just like so painful, but I didn't show a thing. And not showing a thing, they become meaner and meaner with me, especially the girls in high school. And it was just like a vicious circle that never ended. And I said, wow, people can be so negative and bad, even if you had them. I mean, I had those kids so many times, and they couldn't accept. She's even helping us. She has it all. I mean, I hate her. And they hated me because I just look cool and I looked at everything is okay. And this is what I wanted to share because we do this today in social media a lot.
And I love that. In fact, you got a fellow Romanian in the audience right now,
Yeah.
Cristina. If you can believe it, Cristina has
And I
even
can
said
pronounce her
this.
name well.
Yeah,
Gergishan
yes,
Fili.
yes. She says Cristina is speaking my language, not only literally, the country of origin is the same as in Romania, but also she is speaking my language metaphorically. It looks like I am at least halfway through the same sort of journey, and I love that she took the floor and shared her perspective and her life and her personal story. I have myself been through similar type of experiences, childhood, high school, wise. I love her perspective and making an impact worldwide on a deeper, probably level. But then she comes back and says, in order to avoid emotional pain, we get to tend to maturity way too early. So we jump stages of healthy, normal life, i.e., childhood, teenagehood, and I'm on that same wavelength as well.
Wow. Please connect with me, Cristina.
Yeah, you definitely should talk to her. She's an amazing person in and of itself. And then of course Dwight, who has joined us, has said this earlier. Um, he said that we have to live in grace and understanding at all times. And then he said this just a little bit ago when he said the burden of leadership is a tough journey. You cannot envy anyone for anything because you don't know their story. And see, Dwight, on that very note, that is why I truly believe the better question to ask is not what you do, or what you perceive that's actually there in front of you, because that perception may not be reality. But that is why when you ask this, not only of yourself, but also for other people in tandem, of knowing who you are, then you can break down that veil of perception and really meet them on a deep and meaningful human level. What say you, Cristina?
Yeah, I mean, wow. I just recalled another analogy, here because of this perception. We have multiple personalities inside of us, and that's okay because we also have different values for different parts of our lives,
Mhm.
if you take the life circle, because and it's healthy because if you are, let's say, in the military, I like to create this analogy, and you need to be tough and you need to put order, discipline, punctuality in front of you. That's cool. But if you go at home and you have some kids, small kids, you don't want to have those same values at the top of your list. You want to become a dad. So you take on an alter ego then, and another personality, a part of your personality, and you share that. And it's good to have them this way. But sometimes we are doing this to protect ourselves. And so here is the differentiation. When are you doing this because you're conscious about your roles and that they need to change, and that is a superpower? And I also work with my clients on this to create those superpowers, not just change convictions or limiting beliefs, whatever they might be facing, because everyone is unique, but also to give those kind of roles and empower those roles that became maybe just a child because something happened in the childhood, and that kind of powerful role became so weak, and it's somewhere in the shadows in a corner, just screaming, but you cannot hear it. I want to get bigger. I want you to give me some platform and some stage. Yeah. And in my case, there was one of the toxic type of roles that you don't want to place. I faced, and I realized this very late, that I had the fear of authority, and because of my initial caretakers at home, who gave me a lot of trauma, and so because of that, I had a dissociative personality in school. For example, it shaped that my teachers were like just gods, and inside the classroom I got sometimes so nervous that I forgot my own name. And really, yeah. And I had this kind of issues several times. I forgot the entire thing, even if I was fully prepared. And then I left the school. I was not in with a figure of authority, but I was in, let's say, in a group of theater or acting or singing or whatever we were doing outside, or sports. And I entered in a different persona. It was still me, but it was the more authentic me without this kind of trauma-based personality traits. I realized this very late, and I worked a lot, many years, to get over and be where I am today. For example, that I truly don't care about the title. That is one of the magic things, because I truly get in that place where I don't care. But I did have this because of my childhood, and it was toxic because in education and through the educational system inside, my classmates and my colleagues, obviously they had different kind of impressions about me, but until high school they would probably think that, oh, she's not too smart, or she's too introverted, or she's too shy. And I wasn't at all, because if you would see me outside of the school, I was a completely different person.
Wow. What's your thoughts on that, Jay?
I think that there's a lot to unpack, but I think one of the things that strikes me is that I think that people are affected all over the globe pretty much in the same way, by your surroundings, by trauma, and what connects us as human beings is how we react and how we respond to those external forces and those instances of trauma. And we can all kind of gather around ways that we know can help one another. And I think that's beautiful in understanding each other. You know, if your personal experiences are able to help others in such a way that they come out positively impacted, I think that is definitely something that is important to understand. And this is why, as the storytelling strategists, it's important for all of us to share our stories so that we can definitely gain insight, gain perspective, and maybe even a blueprint for ourselves to make the positive steps in the right direction to heal. And so, I think that, Christina, the fact that you're a holistic executive coach, I think everybody under your tutelage and your care will benefit greatly from it because of those instances of healing for yourself. So taking your personal story and making that impact in other people's lives is definitely important to me, and I guess important to you based on what you're doing currently.
Thank you so much. I mean, I'm really impressed about the platform here and the way these discussions are flowing and the feedback that I usually don't receive through lives. And so I appreciate this tremendously from you, Keith, from you, Jay. Yeah.
And we actually now
Oh,
have Christina and Dwight with us today. Hello, Dwight. How you doing today?
Blessings. How y'all doing today? Happy, wonderful Wednesday. Oh my goodness, we are here. I just want to come up and say thank you all for having these kind of safe spaces and these kind of conversations. A lot of us spend a lot of our time trying to reconcile the creative entrepreneurship spirit with the business structured aspect. So the fact that you are on this journey, Christina, with that component, which I don't see enough of, where we are aware that what we do has a social impact, not just an economic impact, but a social impact. And we structure our business so that
Oh no.
He'll come back. It's probably just a little internet hiccup. You know how that goes.
Yeah, I know. I was so drawn in what he said. And
Yeah.
he has this radio voice I love so much.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Hopefully Dwight will come right back and he will be on here. So Christina, how you doing today, ma'am?
Cristina, Gergishan, unmute yourself. Let's hear you. Oh my God, she's muted. Can you unmute yourself? I would love to talk with you. She unmuted before, but now not. Yeah.
Hopefully she'll come back on.
Mm-hmm.
I
Indeed.
wonder if there's a glitch in StreamYard today.
That could be. There could be. Because Keith dropped off and hopefully he'll be back. So Christina, are you there?
Maybe
Oh,
you
looks like
jump
she's
out
not
and
able
you
to.
get back. Until then, I could go on with what Dwight
Yeah,
wrote because
yeah. Let's speak to that social impact that Dwight was sharing. How does that look like and mean to you? And it's what we truly believe here at Bringing Humanity Together. It's that the next currency of humanity is going to be rooted in value and not money. And when it comes from that social aspect kind of dynamic, do you believe that that will be the way forward versus actually doing it about the money and always about the money? What say you, Christina?
we are already in transition, and you can see with the new generations that they are pursuing careers and even choosing companies based on values and mission. And they are just not willing to take a job just for the money's sake. So in this spectrum, I would love to be an optimist because we did some good things also in parenting during the last decades, where we started to not traumatize our kids as much, but also make them resilient. So here it's a fine line in a way that you you as a parent, I heard this saying to someone, but I think it's so true. We as parents have the duty to not ruin our kids as much, to ruin them as less as possible and keep them as authentic as possible. And that is a constant daily problem, issue, journey. And maybe with having less trauma, because our generations, obviously there were different cultures, it was even used to just um, do whatever you want with your kid. You have a kid, you can kill it if you want. So yeah, there were different times, but today there is a little bit of another idea, and that's good if we don't go into the extremes, because the kid needs to learn resilience, and if they can learn a growth mindset resilience from the beginning, that's just absolutely awesome. And so the new waves are coming in these social directions, and everyone wants to be more connected. I just have calls, on a daily basis. Even today I had a call with someone who suffers because he was an amazing employee for multiple big names, and I cannot now call them just because I want to keep his privacy, and usually I'm very private with my work. But he truly worked for companies, US companies, that are known for how mission oriented they are and how much they promote integrating everyone and belongingness and everything. And they even work in this spectrum, but the employees are feeling completely the opposite. And this still happens. So it's that kind of battle between the wares, between the fixed mindset leadership and the growth mindset leadership, where you don't see that everything is a 0-1 sum name and a game. And you can only succeed together, having social big missions to accomplish, because we are more connected than we know. 99% everything around us is the same. I mean, we are just differentiated by 0.1%, 99.99.
Think about this, Christina, and I want to go over to Dwight for in just a second. But see, what we truly believe here at Bringing Humanity Together is comes from this very quote, and I gotta share it with you guys because it just calls to me. And again, it's from Star Wars, and Star Wars has changed my life like you'll never know. But think about this: is to embrace others for their differences, for that which makes you whole. Not only can we embrace our differences, Christina, but also we can embrace the similarities that actually are uniting to us. It's like I call them like the universal truths of humanity. We all want to be heard. We all want to be seen. We all want to be a part of something bigger than of ourselves. We all want to be heard and loved. And then when we see that and recognize that, I truly believe that's the thing that we really should be understanding. Because see, for decades upon decades, Christina, we've been told that we for us to be truly unique, we got to stand out. We got to stand out from the crowd and kind of put this kind of veil of, hey, I'm the guy, and everything like that. But what if we was to reframe that and flip that around to where for us to really stand out, it's time to stand in. And once we allow that to occur, the next thing you know, we're not just alone anymore. We're really at the table of humanity. And then the question truly becomes is how can I help and serve you? And are you willing to let go of those things from a place of ego, from a place of monetary gain, or from a place of position and authority? Because, see, I truly believe in that. For me, I don't have a title here. I'm just the coalition builder and founder and visionary. That's all I am. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm just a simple man. And if everyone else wants to title themselves, then so be it. That's all what it is. But it goes right back to what John C. Maxwell says in his great book, The 21 Infallible Laws of Leadership. Leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. It's not a title, it's not a rank, it's not even a position. It's influence. And how we show up to that, and not only how we show up to that very influence, that matters and everything like that. So I go to you, Dwight. Let me ask you this. Is leadership about you or is it about others?
It's always about others. One of my favorite quotes is, a ladder is only as strong as the weakest rung on the ladder. And with that mentality, you have to understand, I come from a background of 12 years working with Broward County. And it's always been the case from high, low, left, and right. The person who performs the least is the one who sets the pace for the entire group. So it now becomes a matter of making sure everyone has the same skill sets, the same knowledge, the same purpose, same agenda. And that's leadership. And one of the problems we have, and I'm going to be addressing this in another upcoming book, is our current management teams, the way they are structured, the reward and punishment dynamic that they use, it fosters a culture and an environment where it's all about, like you just mentioned, me, me, me. How can I be ahead? Where you have people would come in and claim ownership and rights and different aspects of leadership without the true understanding that for me to be a leader, I have to serve. And when I serve, then I understand your perspective and his perspective and her perspective. And that is a journey that we all are on. So I applaud everyone for being in this conversation and understanding that it's going to take a while for us to get there, but we have to do our part. And that's my takeaway. That's my actionable item. Whatever sphere we're operating in, myself as an author, all my books are geared towards helping people understand that you are important, you are valued, and you can make a difference wherever you are. And that's leadership.
And Dwight, we definitely got to talk to you. And thank you so much for joining today's call. And I see we have Crystal with us today. But Keith, I want to go to you of what Dwight just shared. What showed up for you there, Keith?
No, I'm just really impressed. Thank you so much, Dwight, for being on here. My bandwidth is a little bit interesting today. Um, I really feel that authenticity and also really working as a team is so important, and always thinking about the weakest link, which you had mentioned with the latter. Just thinking about the some of the people that think that they're the strongest person on the team, that they may actually be the weakest link because they're not really sure about themselves, and they're really not understanding where they're coming from at that time, and they're too overconfident, and that one person could wind up destroying the whole entire team based upon just their detachment from reality. Um, it's really always good just to humble yourself and just understand exactly where you're at, to take that look in the mirror and just get it. Be like, I am not the one that could lead you right now. I need some help, and to show humility, and just to really move forward in a vulnerable manner. But just thank you so much for being here today with us, and just looking forward to learning more about you.
Thank you so much, Keith. We greatly appreciate you. Now, I got to go to Cristina because, Cristina, you've been on mute for a while, but we got to hear from you, and then we'll go over to Crystal. Cristina, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I would love to add to what Dwight also said and wrote, because he wrote this very nice quote. I would say the burden of leadership is tough journey. You cannot envy anyone for anything because you don't know their story. Yeah. So leaders have a bigger responsibility, and they need to assume that they have a bigger role. I'm all about meritocracy. And if you studied a little bit evolutionary psychology and how even the organizational behavior took place and started to create some patterns, recognizable patterns, you will see that leadership matters because it gives the tone. What Dwight also mentioned about the free riders, because in evolutionary psychology, those are the free riders. If you leave free riders in a group, and those are basically the second group next to those who are doing the work that survived through centuries. From the tribes, if you are thinking in history, usually you needed to go for prey, to have something to eat, a dinner. And so you did have those tribe members, and you did have the hunter-gatherers, and they came home because they were very good at hunting, and they were in a very good physical shape, and they were the true leaders of those tribes, and they brought in the food, and those survived. But also the free riders survived because they are like parasites, and they have those characteristics of parasites, and they're very good actors. They know how to emulate. They did the work, but they didn't. They know how to spread the right type of rumors inside the group or organization, and that's why they are the perfect kind of example for the apple that ruins the basket. And yes, if your leadership is weak, you will leave free riders. And if they get too many, because one free rider, if it's accepted and tolerated inside an organization or a tribe or a group or a community, will attract the second free rider. They will come until they destroy the group or the organization or wherever they are, because there are not anymore the benevolent workers, those who do the actual work, because you can demotivate your best employee or teammate if you let the free riders exist in that group, and you don't create the rules, and you don't create something based on meritocracy. Tech Leadership Lab, my construct here, it's everything about meritocracy. I say things as they are, and the way I also learn in life. It's not like everyone. I believe in free opportunity for everyone, but that doesn't mean they will take it. And you cannot put on the same pedestal someone who saves the world or jumps in front of the fire to save 100 people with someone who, I go and take a beer and I will stay in the coach, but I will say that I have rights. You cannot do that if you want to be an evolved society and you truly want to have the right type of leadership at top. And this is something I promote and I live for and live by.
And Cristina wants to hear that quote from you again, because she said she's got to have that quote.
From the quote I mentioned, which quote? It's from Dwight. The burden of leadership is tough journey. This one?
The one you just said.
And you cannot envy anyone for anything because you don't know their story. That's from Dwight Thompson. He wrote it in the chat.
Oh, nice. And Cristina, we want to hear from you. You've been on for a while, but we want to hear from you. Please, Cristina, unmute, and then we'll go over to Crystal.
Right. Good evening, everyone. I'm back in the UK. Hi, Cristina. Nice to meet you. I've just had a trip back to my parents' house for 2 weeks, and yeah, I'm based in the UK. Anyhow, it's evening in here. I'm sure that in other part of the world, over where Chris, Jay, Dulite, Keith, and Krista are, it's afternoon. Anyhow, long story short, I think that I don't know. I'm a guinea pig in a sense that I'm what Cristina has just mentioned is that I don't know. I wouldn't call younger generations, but I don't know somebody who is wide awake living in 2023. Doesn't matter. The age is just a number in the ID card. I think that in 2023, people who are part of the work environment still. So we're not talking about probably children or elderly who are either still in schooling or the other ones. They are enjoying their pension. So the ones who are in the workforce, I think in 2023, they are not keen to give their energy, their breath, their mind, their spirit, their body, their everything that makes them. They are not willing to give to anything that has to do with serving others in order for others to be prosperous. So I try to, in order to make a bit more sense, I try to use this sort of comparison. I'm a guinea pig, in a sense that I could have been at different stages in my life, like so wealthy in terms of financial gains, monetary. It's just I always been of the mindset, and my being is of such that I've been in education for so long, but my heart and soul were always towards me not gaining knowledge and titles and labels and whatever, but it's me towards gaining knowledge and everything that is out there in the world, with a view to actually have an impact onto people and help them. It's sort of the savior type of persona, or whatever is called in psychology. But that's what I thought, that I'm here in this world. That's what I thought my calling is. Long story short, where I reached a point where Chris connected to me on LinkedIn, where I was like, that's it. That's enough with the schooling. From an academic perspective, that's enough with the sort of part-time jobs, like going here and there in order to give from my being. And I said, like, look, I'm going to reframe my sort of calling, and I'm going to see whether there are any sort of opportunities where I can actually be and who I actually am. So lead by the part of example, do things how I feel like. So be like what I heard yesterday in the other call, like actually be happy when I'm working, because that's living, not wait to live after work. If I'm able to make sense. So long story short, bringing humanity together, what's meant to me and what I heard this evening, bringing humanity together is actually something where I feel like I could potentially be myself and make an impact, like a meaningful type of impact. And yeah, I look forward for that. And as Jay said it earlier today, it sounds like, and it looks like, no matter what stage in life one is, or no matter what geographical location they have, everyone been through sort of similar type of hardships, be it in childhood, adulthood, be it in their employment status. And I think that what people need is human beings and humanity, and people working alongside, not against each other, which is what I've seen. And yeah, breaks my heart, but it is what it is. So yeah, it would be wonderful if we are working, we as in like Chris and the people who are more powerful and have a bigger say in this, if the organization works towards a future where people have a space in this world, and they have a saying, and they have a voice, and they live according to their true self, and yeah, they feel fulfilled. So yeah, hopefully I made sense of what I wanted to say. So yeah, thank you very much for giving the floor to me, and lovely to be here.
I'll let Cristina respond, and then we'll go over to Crystal.
Yeah, it's important to know maybe, and I would love to clarify what you said again about not pursuing money and financial gains. I believe that nothing is bad, and it's not good to create any kind of limitations for around our mindset, because at some point, if you reject money, you won't have it, and then you cannot have so much impact on your life. And so for me now, it's also on my list. But during the first period of my life, and this is the way I see it, we do have, I mean, even the brain matures till 25. It's not fully mature. And afterwards, you have so many experiences you need to go through to assess life properly, to become a leader. And so in my view, if you gain and you receive success or too much money or everything that you just want too early, that will limit you so much. And I studied a lot this trend, and also inside billionaires families and millionaires, and you can see that many billionaires take protection what to do with their kids, because they know the danger. And that, because if they just don't have nothing to pursue, if they don't go through struggle, they will find different kind of struggle. And that means drugs, that means alcohol, that means extreme sports, that means anything that is so dangerous for their lives and others, because they don't have that kind of limit. Hey, life is a pendulum with good and bad, and I need to be tested before I receive something. And yeah, many times I need to go through pain and to become an empath and be empathic and can take decisions where I experienced both sides of the coin. And that is why I wouldn't put leaders in high positions if they didn't experience, they didn't have a heavy life, let's say, where they had multiple responsibilities. And so it's good to not pursue fame, success, and money early. It's just good for your health. Even if we just say that, okay, you are egocentric because if you didn't have that kind of success, maybe you are now envious. Some might say, no, it's also for your mental health. I talk with kids, I talk with teenagers, young adults who didn't had issues, who didn't face situations where they needed to be on their own and take serious decisions, and they were lost. They were completely lost when they lost their parents, or they didn't have the caretakers anymore, and they lost their initial structure because it was the only structure they knew, and they didn't know what to do with their lives, and they destroyed their lives and many times those around them. So based on this experience, and that is also proven because we mature in time and we need some decades to truly be able to lead many people under us, you have this apprenticeship as a need. And it's maybe part of those kind of things that I would put in church if we would have like a presidency for this earth. and we would have like some parts to check, dots to check or pinpoint what type of skill sets you would need. You could put age as well there. Some other aspects that could be seen discriminatory, and I don't want to raise too much hate for one night, but yeah, there are some things that are usually known that create leaders prepared to lead millions or billions of people.
That was truly powerful, Cristina. Thank you so much. Crystal, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous. Well, on the topic of leadership, you know my views on that, Chris. My views on leadership is that you have to be willing to get in the trenches, per se, with your team. You, as a good leader, you can't expect your team to do anything that you would not be willing to do yourself. And to me, that's what a good leader is. It's not somebody sitting high and mighty up in an office, just collecting, the money and dictating to everyone. A good leader is right there next to his team and helping problem solve, coming up with team strategies, being there with them. And I have lived through the childhood strife and all of it. And I have to say, yes, it did make me into the person that I am now. My scars are not what define me. They helped build me. And I was actually in a room with Jay just yesterday. We were talking about content creation and things like that, and how we reach out to our audiences. And in bringing humanity together, we are reaching out to an audience. We're trying to bring everyone together under a solid banner of we're black, white, yellow, purple. I'd recommend going to a doctor. I've made that joke before. But we are all human beings. We all bleed red. There is no color that defines us. It's our actions that define us. Besides our like for horrible sports teams, Chris and I have this banter. For those of you that don't know, my sister went to University of Miami, which is a rival of the Florida Gators.
Yes.
I'm a University of Miami fan. He's a Gators fan. So we have this banter about his Gators memorabilia a lot.
And we'll just leave that for another day. We'll just leave that for another day.
When it comes to leadership and everything, I do agree with what you said, Cristina. Great leaders are the ones that were in the trenches, that went through life, that, had the ups, had the downs, and you're right. When it comes to millionaires' kids, I went to school with quite a few of them. My parents busted their butts so that I could go to private school. And a lot of those kids felt like they were entitled. And they'd get that brand new Mustang for their Sweet 16. And a week later, just wreck it. Because they didn't have, and 2 weeks later, mommy would buy them a new one. They didn't have any consequences for their actions. And that's not what we need to be teaching the future generations, So that's my take on leadership. I did want to share one win with the group, if I may, Chris.
Okay.
Tomorrow, Rattled Awake 3, Volume 3 will be released, and your little Crystal Phoenix has a chapter.
Nice.
In the book.
Nice. Very
so
good.
I will be a published author as of tomorrow, and it's telling my story.
Awesome.
So I just wanted to share that win.
Congrats.
With you guys.
Very good. Thank you so much, Crystal. And Dwight, we will definitely want to reach out and talk with you too as well, Dwight. Thank you so much for being on the program. But this is what comes up for me in this great and engaging conversation about Cristina's story and what we've been sharing about leadership, followership, and everything in between. It's about, again, bringing that humanity together in a way that where I can see what you see and then you can see what I see, or even from a place of belief. It doesn't really matter. But if we just let that be for what it is versus what it's not, and again, like I said earlier about pulling down that veil of perception, what we think is actually there, when in fact that's not what's actually there, we can really go beyond in so much of a great and human connective way, like never before seen in human history, that we can actually be in a place in a space with somebody, because it's not about the money, it's not about the notoriety, it's not about the fame and fortune, it's not about anything. It's just like what you said earlier, Cristina, that there are people who's got millions of dollars in their bank account and can still yet be miserable at the very same time, because money can't fulfill your passion for life or your purpose in life or what really fuels you on that day to day. Money is only a form of energy and tool that we use to get the things that we want and need in our life. That's all it is, nothing more, nothing less. So, Cristina, I got to put this out to you today. I would love for you to be a part of bringing humanity together. I truly believe you are fit in very well here and everything like that. And me and Keith would love to have a call with you, and we'll make that happen. But Cristina, what are your big takeaways from today's call? And what will be your call to action for people to not only get a hold of you, but knowing who you really are? How can they do that?
Thank you, Chris. And I agree. Let's have a call together and see what we can do in the future together. Yeah, I have a few. So leadership, basically about the money, just to end this topic, just amplifies your pros and cons. And if you're empty inside, it will amplify that emptiness and your desire to do harm. And here I want to bring in the other aspect. So if this is what I want to do with Tech Leadership Lab, because here, if you unite the right type of people who have it all, so they have the money, they have the skill, they have the power, they have the technology, and the right heart, they will change the world. Because this is something what we don't know. Look at us today here. We created a very deep conversation, deep connection through a deep conversation. And we saw how connected and similar we are with our experiences, needs, desires. One of the biggest lessons in this life, if we could just live by it, would change the game. It's that unhappy people do bad, destructive things. Happy people are all about helping you grow, be happy as well. So if we are helping one another and we create more happier, fulfilled people around us, we will benefit directly from it, because not the unhappy person will help you. Never, never. The happy, the fulfilled, the wise, the empathic person will help you. And so if you do everything in your power to help that kind of person thrive and success and get access to high leadership authority power, then that person will help you tremendously much more. And this is something to take away with us at home and consider in our daily actions.
You're absolutely right, Cristina. As they say, hurt people hurt people. You're absolutely right on that. But see, maybe we can take those people and maybe show them a different way of looking at life. And see, this what comes to me as you're closing out the call is that maybe we can look at life happening for us versus to us. And when we do it in that kind of way, we're not in that same hole ever again. We're always not back at square one ever again. Maybe when we take life and we say yes to life and say yes to opportunity and say yes to wonderment and imagination and everything in between that makes us, again, who we are, not only do we become better for it, but we can literally go beyond what people have told us that we can or cannot do. And to me, I will go back to this and I'll say it to the cows come home. And I truly believe in that. That choice is the ultimate path to freedom. If we give people a choice, again, with that next currency of humanity that's rooted in value and not money, and they see that from that tangible aspect, that, like you said, it goes to their heart of hearts. And that person with that good heart can not only grow and thrive, but they can help others do the very same. And when we do that, not only will those field of dreams will be real, but they will not only come, but they will build more. And I truly believe in that. So, Cristina, like I said, I love this conversation in and of itself. And Cristina just said, "What goes around goes around." Well said, Cristina.
Comes around.
That is the right environment. I would like to be in BHT, and it looks like bingo and everything like that. So, thank you so much, Jay, Cristina, Dwight, and Keith, who was on the call today, and to all of you who was watching today. Same thing with Sue. Sue's been was on the call today too as well. If you want to know more about bringing humanity together, please reach out to myself or to Jay or Cristina or to Sue or to Keith, and we'd love to have that great and engaging conversation with you. So again, from all of us here at Bringing Humanity Together, have a wonderful day. Make your day. I'll be posting the 2 next up live streams that we're going to have. We're going to have Humanity Happy Hour, the audio experience tomorrow. I'll be posting that a little bit later. And then a little bit later on tonight, too, as well. I'll be posting our community call on LinkedIn audio a little bit later on, too, as well. So from all of us here at Bringing Humanity Together, have a great day. Make your day. And we'll see each other tomorrow on Humanity Happy Hour, the audio experience. Have a great day, everyone.